So come on in, take a sip, and let's wind down. Today we're winding down with a Campari Spritz because I didn't want to go down to the cellar to get a new bottle of wine. And I forgot to get Merlot, or excuse me, sweet vermouth on the way home, which I need for not only my favorite Manhattans, but I also quite love in my Negronis. So I thought, well, we're just going to have our favorite cocktail today to wind down. And I'm delighted we did. And so for those of you who have not ever seen Dan Snow's history hit, it's a really fun YouTube channel. And they had David Mitchell on 2 weeks ago. I just saw the upload today. I don't know. I guess it just didn't make it to my feed in time. But if you're a fan of his comedy, his acting, I mean, David Mitchell's fabulous, right? And he was so good in Ludwig, and just really loved that season. I can't wait for the new one. But just saying, he's actually just sitting there talking for about 20 or 30 minutes, just ripping on various monarchs and stuff, right? And some really funny stuff, because apparently he's a historian and amateur or otherwise, but he was just talking about the archers in France. I guess we were talking about maybe Agincourt, but one English archer looking to the other English archer saying, "Are we the baddies here?" Kind of a thing. It was just great stuff. So if you're a fan, you might want to check that out. If I can remember, I'll try to put it into the comments or to the description below. But yeah, he's just on Dan Snow's history hit, and it's really good. I mean, he's just funny as always. It's kind of like Ricky Gervais. You're going to be laughing when you're listening to him, and so. Let's hop into our grid and see what we got going on here today. All right, so here we go. We got our Tuesday Cryptic Crossword, and this one's set by Paul. So let's hop to it. I always seem to take our very first opportunity right there at the top, the first across. So, bachelor, having pushed in, give wise guy a bloody nose where party drinks served. Opera, dirty music fed to Mary or Martin. Peter Grimes? What's going on with that? Sure on verb, though not perfect tense. Perfect tense. C20. Pile has two types of music. Okay. Superficial rock band's last tour, a wife turning up to spoil. A wife turning up to spoil it. Find stuff by protagonist in old song. Cadence that's followed by a music player. You gotta give me something here, Paul. Gotta have something. Okay. This is 2 words. Give wise guy a bloody nose where party drinks served. Right now, I can't even imagine what that could be. Well, where party drinks served. 5 and 4. It just has something to go on. I hate not having that. Sings, where land of song embraces type of music. Okay. Paddle measured when picked up. Dirty music, dirty look. Okay. A medal on the other side. Okay, hold me with a pin, point furthest away. Well, abscess won't work, but aphelion will. Excuse me? Oh, I'm sorry, baby. Shotzi made it in because she was expecting a phone call and it didn't come through. She's like, no, I'd rather go in here and watch my husband flail miserably with the Guardian Cryptic. Okay, but I think aphelion works in there pretty well. I don't really use that word often. I would obviously more than likely say abscess, right? About a point furthest away. But, yeah, no, it's good. Sings where land of song embraces type of music. I mean, I'm going to have to use this one letter that I've got moving in this cross vein to figure out what's going on with the rest of the stuff. I mean, because I'm getting nothing in the northeast corner at all whatsoever. Nothing. Superficial rock band's last tour. A wife turning up to spoil it. Well, you know what? I don't know. I don't think I've ever had a scenario where I didn't. Well, no, I think I have only had like one answer in a grid in the past, and we may have gotten that so far. We might have just done what we can today with aphelion, and I don't even know if that's right yet because I can't see. What did I tell you in heavy metal hit? Hit. Sings where dirty music, dirty look. Okay, fine. Scoffing starter of onions. Dinner is windy. Scoffing. Diner is windy. All right. Consider cuts on new cutting tool. Consider cuts. New cutting tools. God, Lord. Pile has two types of music. Okay. All right. Well, great. Match suit with blue pants. Trance brought by snifter laced with drug. Yeah, I'm just putting it in a dream. I don't know. I gotta have something to start on. You can't just give me nothing but abstrusion. I mean, I gotta have something to work with here. Official or private message penned by King say sent back. 4 and 5. Oh my Lord. Okay. 501 number reportedly doomed. Sorry tale in music. Its content is highly volatile. .501 number reportedly doomed. Reportedly doomed. 4 and 3. I don't know. Let's go with done for. Judgment where God is in shock. Official or private message penned by king, say sent back. You got 4 and 5. I got this R placed right there and with an M. So, since we're just playing with whatever we can get, I'm going to go with Lord Mayor because it seems like it just might fit. Ship concerned with duck capsizing a ship. Well, I'm going to go with a liner. Got the R because that's a huge bonus for me to have an R at the end of 4 blanks. Its content is highly volatile, 4 and 4. This F blank E, and then I got this blank blank N. Highly volatile. I'm going with a fuel tank. I think that fits the definition. No idea. Match suit with blue pants. Well, a match. To match something would be to double. This looks like country. Five letters, I guess it could be a country house. Keeping it in the British mindset. Because that's not a Yank thing to think at all. Maybe for the literati and the New England Brahmin, maybe John Cheever had a country house. Perhaps Paul Astor or those Richies like that, but no, not usual to talk about country homes. And my hiccups are going crazy today, and I apologize for that. Consider new cuts on new cutting tools. Well, that's all I got out of that old corner. Okay. River crossed by awfully damp surfboard. Can leg and arm, when sculpted, figure prominently? 4 and 5. State imitating music. State imitating music. Oh gosh. Figure prominently. Figure prominently. 4 and 5. If you're figuring prominently, you're probably going to be looming large. You see what it does. American composer into punk. No. What's that? Yeah, no. Hiccups and the hiccups on top of the obtuse nature of this particular setting by Paul. It is. But I've got an E here. And I don't know. I have K-E-R-N from the end of punk, and then air, and then the first letter of no. So that's all. I'm just going to have to assume that we're shooting for Kern. Controlling excitement, an epitome of sleep. An epitome of sleep. come on now. Oh, come on. Now I gotta go up here to one thing. That's opera, dirty music, fed to Mary or Martin. I was thinking, no, I don't know. Judgment, where God is in shock. River crossed by awfully damp surfboard. Okay. Fruit in stalk burrowed into by insect. So maybe you can have an ant burrowing into, I don't know. I don't even know how to parse that correctly. I'm just going to go with a plantain because it looks like it is. They're smaller. Oh, no, Peter. They're smaller. They're smaller than bananas, but they're so much sweeter. Controlling excitement, an epitome of sleep. Okay, judgment, where God is in shock. I don't understand where God is in shock, but this could be an appraisal because we're talking about a judgment, right? So let's try it. That's Peter Grimes. You know what the worst part is that I think I muttered that to myself early on because of the Mary or Martin opera. I mean, one of these days I'm going to listen to Shotzi because she always says just go with your gut, yet she doesn't go with her gut.
I don't go with your gut.
She doesn't go with my gut.
In case you're wrong, and then I have to go figure out where I screwed
But she wouldn't go with my gut, but she tells me to go with my gut. I don't want to go with my gut because I don't want to screw it up, but it says state imitating music. And I'm looking at this, and I can't squeeze Alabama into here, but I can squeeze Alaska into here. And I probably could have squeezed Alaska into it with just the L if I had been thinking. But I think I get so flustered at how just muddled some of these cryptics can make your brain, right? Like I'm not even thinking like Alaska, but if I'm looking at this imitating music, you could say a la, i.e. in the style of imitating ska, right? Which is actually one of my favorite forms of music, right? Like I love it so much, I even tend to put Madness on the level of ska, right? I'm talking about Our House, those people, right? But I just love ska. I love reggae. I mean, that whole thing is the Rastaman, and I like it. So yeah, and why does this look like a mouse pad? Looks just like a mouse pad, and it says a river crossed by an awfully damp surfboard. I mean, what? M-O-U-S. Okay, S going down. What we got? Controlling excitement and epitome of sleep. Sandman. Of course, it's the Sandman. And I think we've got a mouse pad here, and I don't know what else it could be. Is there a house pad? Is there a noise pad? A noise pod? I mean, I'm sure we could go through the various random possibilities here, but if this is mouse pad, when we check ourselves, when I say how do we do, Bob, and it's not mouse pad, I'll be relieved. But if it is, this is what I'll be doing all night long when I should be watching TV with my Shotzi. I'll be over on my phone. She'll be like, what are you doing? Oh, just scrolling through TikTok or something like that, I'll say. And she'll know what I'm really doing, because I'm really trying to figure out how mousepad became river crossed by an awfully damp surfboard. That's what I'll be doing. I mean, that's exactly what I'll be doing. You have no idea. We were watching different shows and stuff, and last night a word came up, a geegaw. We were watching Lord Julian Fellows finally put out his new Gilded Age. And we love anything that Lord Julian does, so it's not an issue for us. I mean, he had us at Downton Abbey, right? You know, I mean, and even going back to his earlier work, had us there too. We just didn't realize it at the time, right? No, I mean, if he makes a show, writes a movie script, we're there, right? You know. By the way, if you haven't seen the movies, the Downton Abbey movies in German, I highly recommend it. It's a whole different experience.
Because you won't understand it or get the nuances unless you speak German.
Well, speaking German helps, but yes, but when you understand the German, like when I was watching Dame Maggie, oh, rest her soul. Man, my heart still just cries that she's gone. She and David Bowie and Christopher Hitchens were in my pantheon. I'm losing all of my English folks, and lost my Canadian pantheon member when Leonard Cohen decided to die on us. Oh, it was awful. But the term last night in Gilded Age was geegaw, and I put these geegaws on. I looked like a fool in these because her husband was asking for a divorce or something, and she had geegaws. I'm like, what in the heck is a geegaw? And I looked it up, and it's just baubles, you know. She got all bobbled up, right? You know, I'm like, wow, I love this stuff. So yeah, I'm always learning as it is. I can't stop, but if I'm going to get beat up by a mouse pad and an incredibly damp surfboard, I have no choice. Bachelor having pushed in, give wise guy a bloody nose where party drinks are. This looks like a punch bowl. That's pretty understandable. I get the punch bowl. I don't know why I didn't see it. I don't know why I didn't just put Peter Grimes in when I had the opportunity. I don't know why I didn't write in Alaska. This could have been much quicker, and I'm so sorry for the delay. Sure on verb, though not perfect tense. So sure, though not perfect. The tense, something maybe nervous. Nervous, okay. Cadence that's followed by a music player. I'm going to go with a groove here. It's funny, but like I always say, if I just have a couple of intersections, I might be able to make something go of it. Find stuff by protagonist in old song. Are we talking Stardust here? That's pretty fine stuff. And my favorite version of Stardust was done by Willie Nelson. Just throwing it out there. He has some pretty decent jazz stuff, you know. I mean, people think of him as country and weed, and I don't think of him that way at all. I mean, he's really kind of a jazzy dude, and he's got a lot of really cool music. Superficial rock band's last tour, a wife turning up to spoil it. And I'm picking up outward out of this, and I think probably anyone else would be picking up the same thing, so I don't think I'm an outlier for my outward outlook here, but does this D help at all? Scoffing with a D. No, I can't even fit in demeaning. I could fit in derision by pouring their derision upon everything we did, exposing every weakness, what I can by the kids. What were the lines from there? In the town they go, and their fat and psychopathic wives would thrash them within inches of their lives or something like that. It was just crazy stuff. Well done, Roger Waters. So David Gilmour's still my favorite. Why isn't he Sir David yet? Come on now. One of you has to have an in with the king. Say, hey, King Charles III. How about a little Sir time for David Gilmour? So it looks like heavy metal hit. I think we're looking at a hit and giving someone a good leathering. Pretty clever. I don't know how I just did that. Leather ring. No, maybe it's not a leathering. Maybe leathered? I don't know. Consider cuts on new cutting tools. Got a D and a C. I'm going to go with dicers. I don't know if anyone in the UK ever had those horrible commercials in the 70s like we did in the United States with the Ginsu knives. You know, it slices, it dices, it cuts, it shreds, it blah, blah, blah. And then it cut through a tin can and then go through a tomato like it was nobody's business. It was terrible commercials, but they were very, very colorful. Sings where land of song embraces type of music. A metal on the other side. On the other side could be maybe a cross. Sings could be warbles. I did a little comedy routine for some, I don't know, some fundraiser back in the 90s, and I was just making up something about I don't know, I can't remember what it was all about, but it had something to do with like a place where people go birding, you know, like bird watching, and I remember making it up because I'd never heard of it before. I said, you know, but no. It was like in like one of those Crikey, not the Crikey guy, but the Steve Irwin. Oh, crikey, we got a rare breed of dust bunny here, or something like that, right? You know, well, I was like, no, it's the golden-throated warbler. And then come to find out later, it's actually the name of a bird. So I was like, okay. Paddle measured when picked up. Paddle. Dirty music, dirty look. This looks like it could be discolor. And by the way, speaking of that, I find myself often now being corrected by Microsoft Word because I'm putting the U, the O-U-R at the end of favor and whatnot, which I don't think anybody would care about since I work at a fairly international headquarters. We got a lot of different people from all over the world, right? You know, very NATO-centric, but I can tell you, I had to switch the preferences, the settings where it was English UK because it helps. So paddle measured when picked up, maybe to wade, but it also sounds like measuring the weight. So we weighed it, I guess. I don't know. That's about the best I can do. How do we do, Bob? I don't even know how this is possible. I'm going to do this like 2 more times to make sure that these buttons are working. Since there's no haptic, there's no sound, there's nothing to tell me that this has actually done something. But I don't see any blank spaces. Shotzi, do you see any blank spaces, or can I actually start beaming? Because this is the kind of grid that's going to make me want to beam.
I don't see any blank spaces.
I think this is an absolute win. I mean, this isn't like your. This was a lot of hard work, and if you're still with us, right now, reply 42 in the comments below, and I'll send you a decal because you've earned it. Just put 42 in the comments, and then shoot me an email or whatever. Send me your address. You can just send it to me in an email though. That way, it's not for all the world to see in the comments. But just put 42 in the comments, and I will send you. We'll send you a decal. Thank you for sticking around. Beautiful job, Paul. A beautiful setting. It was absolutely interminably abstruse, serpentine, circuitous, Sisyphean, Herculean. I mean, I was taking on the Nemean lion here. This was good though, and I am absolutely beaming. I'm just going to be studying all night long and maybe part of tomorrow on what the heck a mouse pad has to do with a really damp surfboard. So, of course, if LT or Musty want to help me out, you could save me a lot of heartache. All right, Benny or Dad do. Okay, moving on. Again, 42. That's all you have to write down in the comments, and I'll reply. And then you could just send me an email, and then I'm going to send you a decal and probably a card wishing you a happy birthday, and leaving that part blank so you can write it in yourself. Right? It'll be Mont Blanc Royal Blue is the ink I use. That way it'll fit right in there. So. Until we see you again, thank you so much for all of the support. Love the comments. Love all of the new subscribers coming through on the Guardian Cryptic side of the house. So same channel. And I got to start thinking about putting together a name that doesn't just talk about the New York Times crossword, but that we need to come up with a cool way to say the same thing in about as many letters. But it really is. This channel has become all about it's the New York Times crossword, and it's very much the Guardian Cryptic. I mean, and these are two things that I absolutely adore and look forward to more than anything. I'll fly through the New York Times, and then I get to this, and sometimes I'm doing fine. Other days, I feel like I've just I don't know. I just pulled a Gladiator, part 3, kind of out of my third point of contact. So until we see you again. Ich wünsche Ihnen einen schönen Tag noch. Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss. Servus. Grüß Gott. Ciao. Cin-Cin. Be well out there. Try to be nice to strangers, and we'll see you on the morrow for the Wednesday Cryptic. Cheers.